Hello, welcome to a new episode about using FreeCAD 1.1 together with the CAM workbench to create G-code for the CNC. In this episode, we are going to talk about the ramp entry Dressup. What this Dressup does is avoid direct vertical plunging into the material. It can be useful for this type of toolbits, woodworking toolbits, when used on the CNC. I know it's not a good practice, but a lot of people do it. Toolbits which don't have a cutting area in the center of the toolbit. They are designed to come into contact with the material from the side, so in order to be able to use it with a vertical plunge, we need to make a zigzag movement, so the area here that doesn't cut won't get into contact with material, it will overheat or even break. There is something new on my Ko-Fi page. I will start a class which takes you from the base of the modeling to creating the toolpath, to creating various operations, to setting the job in a 15 sessions online class twice a week starting May 14th. Book your spot now if you want to take part in the class. If you want to support me and at the same time have a benefit for yourself, you can visit the link in the description and buy the FreeCAD 1.1 CAM book, be it in a digital or in a physical version. This is a profile operation that has a ramp entry Dressup added to it. I will show you how to use the ramp entry for profile operations, for pocket operations, for waterline operations. It can be applied to almost all the operations that are available in FreeCAD CAM. Depending on the type of operation and on the type of ramp entry Dressup, because there are 4 types that we can choose from, the toolpath will be generated in a certain way. We will talk about the combination between the 4 ramp entry types and each type of operation, which one to choose to get the best results. I will delete this Dressup and leave the profile operation just as is. Let's also hide the end mill. And you can see that this is a normal profile operation with a step down, I believe, of 2.5 millimeters. It plunges vertically, starts cutting, and does this in 5 layers. Let me turn on the visibility for the stock object. And now let's increase the stock on the end of the x-axis and at the end of the y-axis, just so we can easier imagine the plunge in the piece of material. To apply a ramp entry Dressup, I have to select the operation, go to the Dressups here, and click on the ramp entry. The ramp entry Dressup doesn't have a friendly tasks dialog, it just appears here and we have to make all the changes inside the data tab. You can see that by default it uses a zigzag method which divides the total height that the toolbit needs to plunge. The first plunge is bigger because it is traveling from the clearance height all the way to the first cut, and it divides this distance in 2. So the toolpath will have the correct angle, the angle set in the ramp entry Dressup when cutting the material. The default angle is 60 degrees. The angle value is the angle to the vertical. So setting a higher angle will result in a toolpath closer to the horizontal. A lower angle will result in a toolpath in a ramp entry closer to the vertical. Let's set a value of 20 degrees. And you can see now that the plunge is much closer to the vertical. Setting an angle of 85 degrees, for example, will make a very long toolpath with a very low slope, making a very smooth plunge into the material. Now let's see the 4 methods, which are called ramp method 1 up to 3 and Helix. Let's select the first ramp method. And what this ramp method does, it starts from the original point of the toolpath, makes a diagonal plunge. So the angle, the 75 degrees angle, is formed between this toolpath and the vertical, and then goes back to the starting point and continues the normal milling. It does this for each of the layers of the profile operation. The ramp method 2 first goes using the safe height to the point where it starts to descend, so the same angle is obtained, but at the same time the toolbit needs to reach exactly the starting point of the first cut. Ramp method 3, which is the default one, divides this in half and makes first move away from the starting point and then returns in a zigzag pattern. The Helix method Not only that is different from the other three, but it also works pretty different depending on the type of operation that we apply the ramp entry Dressup to. For this profile operation, let's take a look at the toolpath, and because I'm not sure it is easy to view, let's go to the simulator, set a 5 times faster speed and press on the play button to see what happens. You can see the toolpath going all the way around the object in a spiral toolpath. You can see this type of toolpath just as a helix operation, but applied on the outside of the object using the settings of the profile operation. At the end, it will of course make one last pass using the final depth of the operation. Depending on the step down and on the overall length of the profile operation, the angle set in the ramp entry Dressup might be ignored. Any angle lower than the angle calculated when making a full turn around the model end up in the starting point of the next layer. Any angle lower than that will be ignored. Here I have an angle of 75 degrees. Let's increase it to 85 degrees. Still nothing happens. Let's change it to 88 degrees. And you can see that already for the first layer, which is larger, the number of turns has been modified. So it makes 2 turns instead of just 1. If I set a much higher value, let's use an 89.5 degrees angle, you can see now that it makes many more turns because it uses the highest angle out of the two. Since the one calculated is smaller than the 89.5, it will use this one. Let's use a really big value, 89.8 degrees. You can now see that even the lower passes have been divided. So the angle of the toolpath is now smaller than this one. I remind you, this is the angle to the vertical. It's obvious that I have a huge amount of useless movement above the actual cutting. To solve that, we need to check this option here, use start depth, which instead of using the safe height of the operation and starting to make the ramp entry from that height, it is going to create a new value, Dressup start depth, and it is only going to start to make the ramp entry, be it Helix or any other method. It will only start to make it from this height. One thing that you need to know about this height is that the Dressup start depth is a hard-coded value, it's just the number here. If I later change the starting depth of the profile operation, let's edit the expression and add 10 millimeters. You can see that I have a simple milling above the start depth of the ramp entry because it only starts to be applied at 25 millimeters. If I set an even higher start depth, let's add 25 millimeters so I have more layers. You can now see that I have a lot of passes without the helix applied because the height of these layers is higher than the Dressup start depth. So once the ramp entry created, this value is fixed. We can fix that by entering an expression which is always going to be .base .start depth. You can see here the results, 50 millimeters. You need to follow the upper and lower case and the dot notation. Click on OK. And now, if I move the mouse away from the ramp entry so it gets recomputed, you can see that it now starts from the height of the profile operation, no matter what height that is. Now let's go back to the profile and change the start depth by removing this extra 25 millimeters that we added. Click on OK, apply, OK again, and the ramp entry will only start where the actual profile operation starts. This ramp entry, this spiral toolpath that follows the model around and keeps on lowering just as with a helix operation, looks great, but it only works for a toolpath that is completely enclosed. You can see that I have all these 4 edges of the object. The toolpath follows them exactly. If I edit the profile operation and instead of doing this, I will add just 3 of the edges, the ramp entry will throw an error. If I delete it, the profile operation is just fine, but applying a Helix Dressup on a profile operation, I will undo it, just so we can simply change the method. A Helix ramp entry on a profile operation that is not forming a closed wire won't work. We need to change the ramp method. Let's change the angle so it's easier to see, 80 degrees. Changing to either ramp method 1, ramp method 2 or ramp method 3 will work. It will create one of the three other modes of plunging into the material, but the Helix way of plunging obviously won't work anymore. Depending on the situation, again, this might be a great thing when using a closed profile operation. Now let's delete the profile operation and let's create a new operation, a pocket operation for this hole here. Using the default settings, it's an offset operation, step over of 50%. Now let's apply a ramp entry Dressup and see what happens. The default setup with the method set to ramp method 3 and an angle of 60 degrees without using the start depth will create this toolpath, which is not really that bad. And if you take a look here in the center, you can see that it looks odd, the toolpath looks odd, but it is actually correct. Let me try to rotate the view so you can see. Because when trying to reach the set angle, the 60 degrees angle, for the particular depth that it is plunging here, it needs a certain distance. If this distance cannot be covered using just the first line of the toolpath, it will follow the contour, the lines of the toolpath, instead of going straight, which sometimes can mean plunging into the model. So this is a great behavior, it follows the toolpath lines. And this is valid for all the three ramp entry methods. Now let's change the ramp method to Helix, because this also works for a pocket operation, and you can see that consecutive helical toolpath lines are created for each of the passes, for each of the step over passes from the pocket operation, again with different angles, but the steepest angle will be at least this angle here. If I set this angle to 85 degrees, you can see that the toolpath now creates a helical toolpath just as with the profile operation all the way to the bottom of the pocket, but following this angle here. For the outside lines, because they are much longer, there's no need to make several passes. The angle is going to be at least this angle set here. There's another value here which can be very important sometimes, which is the ramp feed rate. By default, it is set to the horizontal feed rate, but we can also use the vertical feed rate. The ramp feed rate, I will explain you immediately how this value is calculated, and a custom feed rate which I can set by hand here. Let's say that I want the ramp entry to be 500 millimeters per minute, very slow speed. I can set it here, just set the ramp feed rate to custom and set a custom feed rate. The formula for this ramp feed rate is based on the horizontal and on the vertical feed rate, and I must admit that I don't know exactly that formula, so let's take a look in the book, and we can see here the exact formula for the ramp feed rate based on the horizontal feed rate and on the vertical feed rate. As you have seen with the profile operation, the ramp entry Dressup, depending on the method and on the base operation, might fail sometimes. For example, in the case of the pocket shape, if I use a cleaning pattern other than offset or zigzag offset, this to work okay with a Helix, but a zigzag will throw an error, a line and the grid will both throw an error. If I encounter this situation, the first thing that I would do is go and try change the method. Changing the method solved the error, and now I have a ramp entry toolpath which will still allow the tool bits to plunge softer into the material. No matter what type of operation you are creating, if you want to have a smoother plunge into the material, not a perfectly vertical, one of the four methods inside the ramp entry will for sure work for any type of operation. And you can also apply the ramp entry to other Dressups, but not to all of them. For example, I cannot add a ramp entry over another ramp entry. I also cannot create one over a leading out Dressup. I can add a ramp entry over a tag Dressup, but I won't be able to use the Helix method no matter if the toolpath is all around the object for a profile operation. The ramp entry can also be applied to a waterline operation. You can see this pretty spectacular toolpath of a ramp entry using method 2 for a waterline operation. It can also be used on a 3D surface operation. Let's create a new one here after deleting the profile. I will select these two faces, go and create a new 3D surface operation. And now, with the 3D surface operation selected, let's apply the ramp entry. You can see that for each of the lines, when starting to cut the lines, the ramp entry will affect the toolpath. It won't affect the toolpath that follows the contour of the shape. Even though here is a deep plunge, the ramp entry won't interfere with the normal behavior of the 3D surface operation. If I change the 3D surface operation and only leave the smaller face, and now I apply a ramp entry dress up to this smaller operation, if I set a very high angle, 88 degrees, you can see that I have several movements back and forth until the final depth, the required depth is reached. It is not only split in two, as ramp method 3 usually does. And that is because, remember, depending on the angle and the total height, the tool bit needs to be lowered. There is a calculated distance. If that distance is smaller than the available distance of the toolpath, such as in this 3D surface operation, the movement will be split into several back and forth movements. The same applies even though I use the method 1 or method 2. It will still get split no matter if I use the second method, which should only create one straight line, but it doesn't fit. FreeCAD automatically converts this method to a ramp method 3 with a lot of back and forth movements if the length of the toolpath doesn't allow for a single line. This is all about the ramp entry Dressup. It is a pretty easy to set up Dressup, but can make a huge difference when creating a toolpath, especially with toolbits that aren't designed to plunge directly into the material. Thank you for watching and see you next time.